Hi everyone, today we're going to be working on creating thesis statements. So let's start out by talking about what a thesis is. A thesis statement comes at the end of an introductory paragraph and it lays out the main points or arguments that we're going to be making in our essay. Today we're going to be working with three-pronged thesi, and a three-pronged thesis lays out three main points or arguments. So why do we need a thesis? We need a thesis for two main reasons. The first is focus. Much like when we're speaking, when we are writing, we can lose focus and go off on tangents. We use our thesis as a reference to make sure that our argument has clarity and that what we're trying to say is clear and focused throughout our essay. We can also use our thesis for organization. I like to think that thesi are like blueprints. The three main points that you make in your thesis carry on to become three main paragraphs or three main parts of your essay's body. These three main parts of the essay's body correlate to the three main points in the thesis, and they carry on the same order that they had in the thesis statement. So how do we make a thesis? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to ask ourselves a question. The question that I pose here is, why do dogs and cats not get along? Now we're going to research the answers to these questions and make sure that we're using a reputable source. For this specific question, I used the American Kennel Club, and I found three answers. The first is dogs' natural instincts make them run after moving objects, and in this case, that moving object would be a cat, and cats don't like that very much. The second reason is that dogs and cats have different methods of communication. A cat might pounce or swat at a dog, and a dog might bark at a cat, and this causes a disconnect between the two animals. The third reason is a lack of socialization when dogs are puppies and when cats are kittens. When puppies and kittens don't know how to deal with each other at a young age, this carries on to when they're older. As you can see, the points that I listed here are very bare-boned. We want to make sure that the points that we list in our thesis have room for us to expand on them in the body of our essay. Now we're going to use the thesis formula to create a full thesis statement. The thesis formula is restate plus transition plus answers equals thesis. Now, the restate for this question would be, dogs and cats do not get along. The transition is because, and the answers of dogs' natural instincts, different methods of communication, and lack of socialization. And just like that, we have a thesis. So now we're going to do our thesis rhyme. And the thesis rhyme is, ask a question, find three suggestions, add it together, you'll have a good thesis whenever. So I want us all to unmute, and it might be a little crazy, but I want us to try together on the count of three. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Ask a question, find three suggestions, add it
Get it
together,
together.
you'll have a good
Have a good
thesis
thesis
whenever.
whenever.
Awesome job, everyone. Please remute yourselves. And let's go on to a quick example. So the question here is, why do people like kittens? And the reasons are they are fluffy, they are cute, and they're lovable. So can someone please raise their hand and then use the thesis formula to tell me what they think the thesis for these two things should be? Okay, Alicia.
Okay, so according to the thesis formula, I think the thesis should be people like kittens because they are fluffy and cute and lovable.
Awesome job, Alicia. You see, I wrote it as people like cats because they are fluffy, cute, and lovable, which is very similar to yours. And I think it's really interesting too. Thesi can differ depending on who's writing them because there's different methods to creating them within the thesis formula. But as long as we use the thesis formula, we will have a great thesis. So now what we're going to do is we're going to each come up with a research question that we're going to research using reputable sources, and then we're going to use the thesis formula to create thesi that go along with our research questions.